Chief, there are records showing that these Gilbert goons have been attacking other teenagers as far back as 2019, but it took the beating death of this young man, Preston Lord, last year to finally bring a lot more attention to them. Why did it take so long?
So let me clarify that with the death of Preston Lord in Queen Creek, which is the neighboring jurisdiction to Gilbert, after the unfortunate death of Preston Lord, a lot of attention and a lot of new information came forward to not only our police department, but other police departments in the East Valley. And with that information, we were able to generate new cases based on this new information. Prior to Preston Lord being killed, we had made 15 arrests on group teen violence cases in the 18 months prior. But the majority of these videos and information that we have now seen was not reported to us or other agencies until after Preston was killed, unfortunately.
Yeah, this group of teenagers was posting videos of their beatings on social media. They were openly bragging about them.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part, those were in private groups, and those who knew of it publicly, they did not share it with the law enforcement agencies until after Preston Lord was killed. And after Preston Lord was killed, the information became very apparent and widespread, being shared not only with the media and social media, and that's when our agency, as well as the other agencies in the East Valley, began investigations on this new information.
The level of violence, we were just showing a video of it just a moment ago, is quite frankly shocking. They ended up killing a boy at a Halloween party last October. He was beaten so badly he died of traumatic brain injury. One of the teenagers charged is 17-year-old Talon Renner, and there's evidence that his father went to great lengths to protect his son and impede the investigation into the murder. A witness says Travis Renner took his son to a cabin in Show Low and kept him there until his hands healed and to keep him away from police. She also says he took steps to try and implicate another boy instead of his own son. So has Travis Renner, who lives in your jurisdiction, been charged for obstruction?
So that investigation, both the homicide and the details that you're speaking about, is with Queen Creek Police Department, which, as I mentioned, is the neighboring jurisdiction. So we do not, in Gilbert, have an investigation on the father regarding obstruction. And so any questions regarding the case would have to be directed to Queen Creek Police Department.
So because the beating happened in Queen Creek, you're not investigating, even though the suspects live in your jurisdiction?
Correct. In terms of that crime and the follow-up on that investigation, that is part of Queen Creek. Regardless of where they live, it's the jurisdiction who is investigating the crime. If there's additional things that come forward that do affect Gilbert, then we would take the lead on that. But this crime occurred in Queen Creek, and they are the lead agency on that.
Well, as you know, many people who live in Gilbert have been very critical of the police department and you over your handling of the Gilbert goons. The Arizona Republic published an editorial with the headline, quote, "Gilbert must fire its police chief over Gilbert goons' response," saying in part, "Your misreading and mishandling of the goons' unchecked thuggery has destroyed trust in the police department." I want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, I understand the public's frustration, but you also have to keep in mind that that frustration is based on a lot of misinformation, which that article fails to provide, which we have provided to them, but they have not disclosed that to the public.
All right, so what's the misinformation?
Yeah, in the cases, there's been several articles detailing numerous incidents of violence. And while those have occurred, the important part that has been left out in the majority of the reporting is that those incidents were not reported to the police department prior to Preston Lord being killed. As I mentioned, prior to the death of Preston Lord, we had made 15 arrests on roughly 17 cases of group teen violence prior to him being killed. After he was killed, we received an influx of information, and since then we've generated numerous cases and made 29 additional arrests on these cases. But it's important to note that those videos and that information was not available, provided to us prior to Preston Lord being killed. But after
but sir, Chief, one father we spoke to said he went to you several times to say his son was being threatened by the Gilbert goons and that you did nothing. His son ended up being severely beaten and so traumatized he was moved out of state. Did you get complaints from parents about this gang before the death of Brian? Because this all happened, this beating, and the father says he asked you for help, and he didn't get it, and this was all before the death.
So the specifics, the term Gilbert Goons or this gang was not mentioned in any of our assault cases. Complaints and reports were made of threats and violence, and those are the ones I stated that we investigated prior to the death in Queen Creek. But specific to this group, that name and that term was not provided to us or mentioned, and it wasn't in any of our reports until after Preston Lord was killed, and that's when all this information was shared with the public, and that term Gilbert Goon was associated with it. And it's important to note too that not all of the videos you've seen involve those that we have now identified as gang members of the Gilbert Goons.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.